Investigating Mr. Beast. This got 1.8 million views in 7 hours. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Mr. Beast.
Investigated Mr. Beast, who was recently accused of making $23 million with insider trading and scams. I wanted to know the full story, so I reached out to everyone, from researchers to crypto projects, even to Mr. Beast himself. And let me say, the story is more complicated than you think.
Okay.
I want to be clear. What Mr. Beast did, what his team did, is shady. But what we care about is, did he cross that bright red line from shady to illegal scam? And contrary to what Twitter says, I don't think that's an easy answer. Instead, I think the answer will depend on you. If you love Mr. Beast, there will be an explanation at every turn and a scapegoat. But if you hate Mr. Beast, what I'm about to show you will seem unethical and like a clear abuse of fame for money. So already, this story is difficult, but I want to make you aware of two more things which matter. First, I have gone to Mr. Beast's team to try to fact check this story extensively, and they declined to fact check or comment on my many questions. Instead, they gave me a statement which we will get to. Secondly, I have a bit of history with Mr. Beast. I interviewed and spoke positively about him in the past, but also his new co-founder is suing me, and his other co-founder threatened to sue me. So you can make of that what you will.
Right.
As always, I just want to let you know where I'm coming from, and I've tried to get all sides of the story.
Do you think low-key CoffeeZilla eats 3 to 4 lunchlies a day when no one's watching? It just feels like he doesn't like Logan. I get that. Doesn't like KSI. I get that. But he has to love Lunchly. The mold gives him his passion for finance.
Story. We're going to start with the major allegations against Mr. Beast and build on those. They come from two sources. Firstly, an investigation by Soma XBT, which claims Mr. Beast made $10 million by backing low-cap crypto tokens, which are down 90%. And the second investigation comes from a group of 5 people who investigated Mr. Beast.
You know what's crazy? Pretty much everybody who wasn't like famous or well-connected in all of these tokens lost money. And yet nobody will ever admit it. Nobody ever like pipes up and is like, yeah, I got, not nobody. People will do it in sometimes these CoffeeZilla videos when they get to interview, but like, if you talk to crypto people, everyone is up. Everyone talks like they're always up. They've never lost money. It's like Vegas. It's like when your boys go to Vegas and everyone's like, I'm even. I'm break even. If you count the free drinks, I'm basically up. And it's like, bro, I just saw you take out another 500. You're not up.
And found $23 million in profits from, quote, scams, shady deals, and his network. Now, there are a lot of crypto projects they go over, and I want to be clear. Some of these allegations, I agree, are bad. Others, I think, are actually worse than have been reported, and still other allegations I simply disagree with them on. So we're going to start with what I don't agree with.
Polychain Monsters.
Polychain Monsters, or PMON, is a project which KSI promoted heavily. Mr. Beast did not. But Mr. Beast did get in the...
Dude, I forgot when KSI had a KSI crypto account with a thing and just talked about crypto all the time. Dude, 2021 crypto, generational era of scams. Just generational era of people, pure greed.
I promoted heavily. Mr. Beast did not. But Mr. Beast did get in the pre-sale and make a lot of money. And thus, the conclusion is made, it's highly likely Mr. Beast made an investment from that insider information of KSI's promotional deal. But there's simply no evidence provided of this. I have the same thoughts about Jigstack, another coin which KSI promoted, and the conclusion is, though Mr. Beast did not officially follow Jigstack, in his network, KSI was involved in promoting Jigstack. From this information, Mr. Beast invested and made a large return. Here, again, there isn't concrete proof. Now, I asked the team who wrote this piece, and the lead author, Casper Vandeluk, told me, quote, having known Mr. Beast's having a very strong connection with KSI, it's basically highly probable he was vested as a result of KSI. No concrete evidence, just going off probabilities. But I'm going to say, I don't agree with that, and I'm going to toss those probabilities aside. I think they reach too far. Instead, I'm going to stick with what we can prove happened. Luckily, the biggest claims in this report, the biggest money makers, are much better supported by evidence. Starting with Super. This is the project MrBeast is alleged to have made the most amount of money on, over $10 million, based on a pre-sale of $100,000. As for evidence, we have leaked screenshots showing MrBeast telling Super's founder that he can do 100K. Then we have a wallet that both investigations trace to MrBeast, sending 100K to the pre-sale wallet. And then we have the same wallets getting millions of these Super tokens in a period of unlocks, which were almost all sold aggressively. Now, why is this bad? Well, MrBeast is obviously hugely influential, and he publicly associated himself with the project twice. Once on March 3rd, 2021, he responded to a tweet with eyeball emojis, and then he interacted a second time on May 12th, 2021.
Crypto is such a fucking dumb. The fact that someone famous eyeball emoji tweets gives it value. Suddenly it has value. Now we have to get in. We have to ape into this thing. And then he's selling all the while to you.
This is much worse. The founder, Elio Trades, had tweeted, "There's a gym sitting there on the market at eye-watering prices set to explode during the DeFi Summer 2.0. MrBeast's response, Super? But what he doesn't say is that he'd already purchased a huge stake in Super at this point, and on the day that he's tweeting, he was selling tokens, allegedly. Not only that, he had been selling tokens and continued to sell tokens. In the 72 hours after the May 12th
It reminds me of that guy, you guys ever seen the All In podcast? You guys know of it? I don't like them. I'm not a big fan of them. I'll be honest with you. They're one of the only podcasts that covers certain things. Sometimes it's like you can watch them. And I'm not trying to put him on blast, but Doug kind of likes him, and I love Doug. I think Doug is like, again, I just think he's one of the best creators doing it right now. So I'm like, I'm trying to give him a chance because me and Doug have been talking about stuff. And one of the guys on All In is just Chemath. This guy, he used to do this all the time where he would go on like recently, like 21, 22 era. He would go on TV on CNBC and just pump the shit out of a company that he was actively selling. He would just go on there and be like, Virgin Galactic is the future of space travel. This company is literally and figuratively going to the moon. It's going to change at the same time as he actively selling. The guy was literally just a pure scammer through and through, and then made a ton of money off that. And now every fucking podcast episode, he's like in fucking Sicily on a yacht drinking wine. And it's just fucking, I don't know how people aren't angrier at this guy. That's where his money comes from. It's entirely fraud. It's entirely fraud. But people just move on. I don't know, that just bothers me.
MrBeast sold about $200,000 worth of these tokens. And remember the context. He's responding to the founder of the coin discussing a gym at eye-watering prices that's going to explode during the summer. And MrBeast's response is the coin he's selling. So publicly, it's signaling, hey, Super is this undervalued coin, and privately, MrBeast allegedly sold. Now, I ran these wallets by MrBeast, as well as the accusation, but I didn't get a reply. Instead, I got a heavily lawyered statement from a spokesman, who I'm going to warn you is about to complicate things. Quote, "These investments were made and managed in consultation with industry experts to ensure full compliance with all appropriate rules and regulations. The wallet is not owned or managed by Jimmy, but rather a fund led by respected and sophisticated managers. The fund closely evaluated and scrutinized hundreds and hundreds of opportunities, which resulted in several investments. Some have been more successful, others less, and others still works in progress. The fund's investment strategies apply the same rigorous standards as many other experienced investors in the field." Now, I have a lot of questions, but the big thing is Jimmy denies doing any of the trading or managing the trading and blames it on a fund. So I asked some obvious follow-up questions. What is the name of this fund? Who are the industry experts? And what rules and regulations were followed that allowed you to tweet about a coin while your fund is selling? I didn't get a response. It's worth mentioning the spokesman is Matthew Hiltzik, a well-known crisis management consultant. Thankfully, online, there's still...
MrBeast got the Harvey Weinstein PR team?
A well-known...
That's fucking wild.
Crisis management consultant. Thankfully, online, there still are a number of clues we can follow to try to find the right person for this fund. The reason most people link MrBeast to this wallet we've been tracking is mostly based on a tweet by MrBeast saying he bought a specific CryptoPunk, which belonged to an account which goes by Wu-Tang Clan. People assumed, understandably, that this was
Holy shit,
MrBeast's
the Wu-Tang
wallet.
Clan?
But what is lesser known is that another account has also tweeted about CryptoPunks and has the same ties back to Wu-Tang Clan. A guy named Jason Williams. He's followed by MrBeast on Twitter, and he's the author of a book on Bitcoin, so he's a crypto guy. And I found
Bitcoin.
Twitter, and he's
Hard money you can't fuck with. Why Bitcoin will be the next global reserve currency by Jason Williams, a $30 book.
He's the author of a book on Bitcoin, so he's a crypto guy. And I found Jason tweeting about another CryptoPunk saying,
Next
I
one for
hope
the
you
book
enjoy
club,
your
yeah.
new home, sold for 100 ETH. That sale he's talking about links back to the same address MrBeast does, Wu-Tang Clan. On YouTube, there's even more clues. Jason can be seen surfing wearing a Wu-Tang Clan shirt, and his brand name, Going Parabolic, happens to be owned by the same MrBeast wallet, goingparabolic.eth. So there's very good
It's all
evidence that
connected.
Jason Williams was also involved in this same wallet, which means that it might be true that MrBeast wasn't the guy buying or selling, which would be good for MrBeast and bad for these investigations. But just when I thought MrBeast might have no say in what this wallet did, I saw this podcast with Logan Paul, where Jimmy discusses CryptoPunks once again, and things get complicated.
Okay.
So me and Logan both bought punks. You guys will probably see on his Twitter that he bought a bunch of CryptoPunks at the same time, right?
Yep.
When Gary pulled us
Yep.
in that call.
Yep.
So have you ever told that story?
No.
Gary V, it's like 11 p.m. just out of nowhere, just calls me and he's like,
Logan's like, no, and don't. Logan's like, no, let's move on. Let's not talk about any of our crypto past at all.
yo, I got like 30 people to call, hop in. I'm like, I don't care. He's like, it'll be the best decision of your life. Just get in. I was
Yeah,
like, okay.
yeah.
And so I just joined the call. And I just see like Logan and I don't even know these other people. I don't
Yo.
want to put them on blast.
Every heavy hitter you can imagine who's
Exactly.
worth $1 billion was on this one call, and Gary V is in the little corner, the little
Yeah.
square. He's going, CryptoPunks. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the next.
Warren Buffett was in there. Every heavy hitter. Yeah, it was probably Warren Buffett in there. And he was like, wait, what, Gary? Gary V? It's going to be the next Facebook?
Facebook. Where all of us were like, okay,
Everyone's
Gary.
judging. I'm texting Logan.
He's
I'm like, Gary
is
lost
this
his
legit?
mind.
Bro, all of us were like, yo, Gary's nuts. Yo, Gary was right again.
I bought a bunch.
Wait.
Yeah, I bought quite a few.
How many?
I don't want to say, but
You have to
No,
say-
please.
bro, you
I,
have to.
I bought multiple ones. Yeah.
Well, bro, are you in double digits, punks?
Double, just shy.
Huh. Well, this clip is very interesting because Jimmy said he
Bro,
made
you
the
double
decision
digits punks?
to get CryptoPunks based on a call with Gary V. But those punks are owned by the wallet we just said was controlled by Jason. So it appears sometimes MrBeast is telling Jason what to buy for this fund. MrBeast then later talks about selling these CryptoPunks and rolling the money into a new project. And once again, it sounds like he's in charge.
Well, I've already sold quite a few of them, so I don't.
What?
The
he's
minis
on to the
are
next
expensive. I bought a bunch of, so then I rolled the money into V Friends because Gary, same thing.
How can you go up from CryptoPunks? Go to V Friends. The animals that Gary V drew himself. Did you know that was a little top? Did you guys know that V Friends, I mean, I'm not going to find the exact video, but this is essentially it.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Vaynerchuk, the creator of VFriends. I am humbled to be working with Mattel Creations and this incredible Uno and VFriends collaboration. First and foremost,
So V Friends was just an NFT collection of random animals that he drew. He just farted these out. This is a fucking bee. This was the actual top. The day this was announced was the actual top of 2021 Cryptomania. It declined from there. Such a scammer. He literally marked the top. V Friends is the peak of NFT insanity. And by the way, I don't think it's ever launched. This Uno V Friends. Absurd. How's anyone buy into this? FOMO, dude. Everyone's laughing at it now, but in 2021, they were like, what? V-Friends?
Called me. He's like, V-Friends? I was like, I don't know, but last time I made money, sure.
I'll be honest, these clips to me make it difficult to assume MrBeast had no idea what's going on. He talks about CryptoPunks and V-Friends like personal investments. And on Twitter, he says that not only he bought CryptoPunks, he also tweets about loading up on V-Friends. But again, I have to say, it is also abundantly clear Jason Williams was involved. He says, "Hey Gary, thanks for the V-Friends gift code. It was a gift from Gary to MrBeast. I'm very thankful for it. He didn't have to send anything." So once again, Jason Williams appears to be involved and have something to do with the trading or management of MrBeast's crypto wallet, but we know MrBeast made some of the decisions. So of course, I asked MrBeast to explain himself if he had any say over the trading. But once again, there's no response. So now I want to turn back to Super. We know from leaked DMs that MrBeast and not Jason set up this presale, and we know that MrBeast made the tweet. So now we have to guess. Here's what we know. We know MrBeast set up the presale according to leaked screenshots. We know MrBeast made the tweet, but we don't know whether it was Jason doing the trading of Super, or if he was doing the trading, did MrBeast know about it? Did Jason know about the tweet? These are the questions that ultimately matter. And yes, I reached out to Jason Williams for a comment. He didn't reply. I did, however, get a hold of Elio Trades, who is the founder of Super, and he insisted that MrBeast's tweet was not a part of a deal for promotion. But you should know, he also mentions how upset he was with how presale investors sold their tokens, saying most of them sold, including MrBeast. So those are the facts. MrBeast gets involved in a presale. For some reason, tweets...
Why do they always say that shit? Not a single fucking token has ever done anything. They're always talking about how, like, oh, I can't believe everyone would just pump and dump. We were going to change the world and build a great game. Or they haven't done anything. No, not one. Not one. They haven't done anything to the real world. And they keep talking about how this project's different. This one's the one that's like gonna fucking tokenize fucking emissions and save the planet or what. They haven't done anything.
It's at this project twice. One time on the day his fund is selling tokens, where he seems to imply that they're undervalued. In total, he's alleged to have made $11 million with this deal, according to the report. So yeah, that's really bad. Now we're going to turn to another allegation, which is about Earn, or Eternity Chain. There are some facts which are the same. There are others that are different. For example, instead of MrBeast setting up the deal directly, the team at Earn claims they never spoke to MrBeast. Quote, "We were speaking to his fund manager. And when I asked about these wallets selling allegedly over $4 million in tokens, they say, quote, MrBeast's fund was an early investor in our presale. He had the same unlock schedule as everyone else. Were we happy with the way he sold? Definitely not. But legally, there was nothing we could have done. And then, just like with Super, they claim they didn't ask for a promotion of the project, but that MrBeast decided to comment once himself anyways. On March 9th, 2021, MrBeast responds to Eternity Chain saying, this one will be hype. It's worth noting, once again, about 24 hours before saying this, this fund wallet...
This is just, there's a large group of mostly young men that are so desperate to make life-changing money, to get on the property wheel and to get out of the 9-to-5 grind and make money, that they can be exploited by someone famous, like someone giving them even an ounce of hope that this will be the one that moons and gives them, and instead they just get cheered. Like a part of their money gets taken away so this guy in mask can get 4 million. It's crazy.
It's worth noting, once again, about 24 hours before saying this fund wallet purchased over $100,000 of Earn tokens in addition to the presale. Now, what is different about Super is that MrBeast's name was put publicly on the Eternity Chain website. On their investors and partners page, you might be asking, well, which is it? Is he an investor or a partner? And the answer is both. He got into the presale, and the Earn team also claims that he partnered with them for an NFT drop. Supposedly, it was a charity drop and a normal NFT drop. Now, the charity drop specifically did happen in association with one of MrBeast's projects, Team Seas, saying, quote, all proceeds will go towards cleaning up the seas around the world. This was early November 2021. Then the official Team Seas account posted on November 3rd, 2021, quote, what an awesome crypto
NFTs
collaboration
for Team
in support
Seas.
of the team. Then the CEO of Eternity Chain, Nick Rose, confirms in Telegram that the drop is supported by MrBeast, saying, Earn and ETH tokens will be accepted for the charity auction, which was slated to last 2 months. Now, the reason I'm sharing all of this is because 1 month into this 2-month charity auction on November 30th, 2021, the Rocket Fund...
If you buy our worthless token at an inflated price, so we get a bunch of money of yours, we'll take a small portion of that money and I guess spend it on cleaning the sea. So roundabout, we'll put a Chuck E. Cheese token in the middle. Basically, you're giving us a bunch of money, and then we take a little bit of that money and use it on the sea. That's brilliant.
or Beast Fund, or whatever you want to call it, start selling huge amounts of this Earn token. Allegedly, they sold over $2 million, while the charity itself was still going on. Now, I know that sounds horrible. It looks horrible. It is horrible. Although I have to tell you, personally, I don't think this was a master plan to pump a coin with a charity auction. If it was the plan, it was a bad one because the NFT auction was ultimately a flop. But do I also think it doesn't matter because regardless of your intentions, selling tokens within a month of your 2-month charity auction is wrong, stupid, and unethical? Yes, I think that as well. Because in case you forgot, MrBeast is the charity guy whose name is on the website. It isn't a fund. It isn't a crypto rocket fund. It's MrBeast's branding. I even asked the Earn team about this, saying, quote, why did y'all list MrBeast instead of Rocket Fund in your partners' investors? Was that discussed? They say, quote, we listed him, MrBeast, as a partner, and quote, yes, they accepted that.
Okay.
So according to the Earn team, MrBeast knew or should have known that his name was on the line for this investment and partnership. And yet, this fund, his fund, whatever you want to call it, sold tokens 1 month after starting a 2-month NFT auction for charity. To be fair again, though, it's hard to oversell how bad this NFT auction did. I've found only one NFT that appears to have sold here, but the bids were made.
You're telling me this didn't save the world?
Charity. To be fair again,
This didn't save the oceans? What the fuck? This should have saved everything. I'm blown away. It's so beautiful.
and though, it's hard to oversell how bad this NFT auction did. I have found only one NFT that appears to have sold here, but the bids were made in the Earn token, which the fund was selling, and the actual sale of the NFT didn't happen until after the fund sold in November 30th. The transfer happened in December 23rd. So of course, I went to MrBeast directly to answer this and see if there was some more context they could provide. There was no response other than the statement we've already...
Do you think there's something strange about launching an NFT project for charity and then selling $2 million of the associated coin for profit within a month before the charity auction? That is funny. That is
already read from MrBeast that he did not control the trading. Although again, that isn't a really satisfying answer because we've established MrBeast would sometimes...
Wait, I'm sorry. So only the NFTs were for charity. So he sold $2 million of the coin for profit. The NFTs didn't sell at all. Nothing went to charity.
We've already read from MrBeast that he did not control the trading. Although again, that isn't a really satisfying answer because we've established MrBeast would sometimes direct what to buy and sell to this fund, like CryptoPunks. Personally, like I said, I don't think this was a pre-planned scheme. But regardless of intentions, if you're the charity guy, you support a charity, it flops while your fund makes millions of dollars in profits because it's selling the same Earn token people could bid on the charity with, that just is awful. And you should feel awful about it. Look, now I want to move on from that. to talking about our
Ain't feeling awful with $2 million extra in your bank account, I guess.
final token, XCAD. This is a token you may remember from our investigation into MrBeast's business partner, KSI. But unlike KSI, MrBeast was not promoting it a lot on Twitter. In fact, the only reason we know MrBeast was in the presale is that there were several articles about it bragging about that fact. Once again, MrBeast's name was used to promote this instead of the fund itself. And internally to investors, I have to say, this built up a lot of excitement, not just because MrBeast is a huge name, but because XCAD had what's called creator tokens. So the idea to some investors is that, well, if they're investing MrBeast and KSI, what if they were ever to launch creator tokens? That would be massive. And I bring this up because some people might ask, like, what do these affiliations, how do they impact people buying these projects? And the answer from what I've seen is they actually do impact it quite a lot because people are anticipating like further involvement. And also the idea is like they must not be investing unless they're long-term holders. You can see this in the Telegram chat. It became so common that in the XCAD community, one of the admins says, "Here we go again," another community member asking if there's any possibility of a MrBeast KSI token. And meanwhile, by the way, as that's happening, as the investors are hoping for these creator tokens and that they're imminent, behind the scenes, something entirely different had been happening. Like with Super and Earn, MrBeast's fund sold a lot of their XCAD early in 2021 rather than holding their tokens. And this was surprising to even the founder of XCAD himself, Oliver Bell, who said they told him they were going to do the opposite. He tells me, quote, "Hey, so MrBeast reached out to me during our pre-sale raise. A group was set up with his team and we had a call with his team and they said they liked the concept. There was no strings attached to the investment. They did, however, want a lot bigger ticket than what I offered them, which I'm glad I did not fulfill. We discussed not just flipping this token, as this can damage projects if people have decent sized tickets. It was my understanding we were aligned on this. However, after listing to which XCAD performed well, there was heavy dumping from a wallet."
But it's the thing is, you know, you don't want them to dump so that you can dump later for a bigger price. But the goal of everyone involved, every person, even the fans getting on it, their all goal is to dump it eventually. No, not a single person actually believes it's a real project that's going to do something. Every single person wants everybody else not to dump so that they can dump at the highest price. It's so stupid. It's just fucking a pit of snakes, dude. Crypto all this stuff is a fucking pit of snakes. Everyone involved is trying to scam each other.
Link to MrBeast.
And what is the word? Like psychologically manipulate each other and gaslight each other. But there's nothing there.
Team. I got in contact with them immediately and asked them why they were selling like this. Now, Oliver later claims this discussion about flipping tokens and them being aligned about the fact they're not going to flip these tokens so quickly was with Jason. And apparently, Oliver was so upset about what happened, he DM'd Jimmy directly, quote, explaining his team will ruin his...
I'm just confused as to why they're putting money in. I don't know who's money. It's, you know, imagine a token. Make up a name. Cumcoin or whatever. all people knew about crypto in 2021, the average person, they just knew that some people got rich. They just know that like if they could find the right token that blew up and they got in early, they could get rich. Okay? So people know that. They don't know shit about, they don't care about the fucking mechanics behind it. They don't care. They don't really care they can do anything. That's like the face you put on to try and sell it. But they know that some people get rich if they get in early. Okay? So MrBeast, knowing this, puts his money into some fucking project and puts his name on it. And he gets a bunch of early tokens. And then it shoots up because people are like, wait, this is the MrBeast one? This one's gonna be big. I gotta get in early. And they buy. And it jacks the price up. As it's rising, MrBeast is dumping. He's getting rid of all of it. He's getting rid of it. Then these people are all left holding the bag of a fucking worthless coin that nobody cares about in 6 months, 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks. His fame is being leveraged to FOMO people into thinking they can get rich.
His reputation. And look, sorry to be a broken record, but yes, I reached out to Jimmy. about this too. And once again, there was no reply besides the statement we read earlier. It's worth mentioning that I asked Oliver for proof of this message about ruining relationships, and he said the message had been deleted on Telegram. So who you believe here is up to you. Oliver also says, quote, I don't think Jimmy has a bad heart or is a bad person. I think he has genuine interest in the crypto space, but I think the team that handles his crypto is completely clueless.
How are they clueless? They're not clueless. They might be soulless. But so far, every single time they have gotten in early, used MrBeast's name to pump it, and then dumped it immediately for millions of dollars of profit. They're not clueless. They know exactly. They don't believe in it. They don't believe in actual crypto. They believe in making money.
And here, on this last point, I have to disagree with Oliver.
Fuck.
I don't think that Jimmy's crypto team is clueless. I think they saw an
I didn't pre-watch.
opportunity to make millions of dollars with MrBeast's valuable brand, and they took it. And they did make millions of dollars. And along the way, they did some things that were shady.
Yeah.
Whether or not you think they were also illegal is probably going to be shaped by our unanswered questions and where you fill in those gaps. Right. For example, do you think MrBeast knew about the selling that was going on May 12th for the super token? Why did he make that tweet? And then, do you think MrBeast knew about the charity auction and the selling that was happening on November 30th? And do you think Oliver Bell DM'd MrBeast and told him his crypto team would ruin his reputation? And if so, was that ignored? I hate to leave so many unanswered questions here, but I warned you, this was a complicated story. And a big part of the problem is the guy at the center of this story cannot or will not give more than a heavily lawyered statement through a spokesman who's a crisis management consultant. And let me just say, it's also frustrating that this statement takes zero accountability. Despite the fact MrBeast's team knew every major allegation that we're laying out here today, there is no mention of selling while MrBeast was tweeting about Super Token. There's no mention of them selling tokens a month after they partnered with a 2-month charity auction. And because of that, this statement feels very hollow. I think to MrBeast and probably to his fund, maybe this is just business, you know? They set out to make a lot of money, and they made a lot of money. What's the problem, right? This is America. They might think this is the biggest MrBeast nothing burger since MrBeast Burger. But look, honestly,
But see, MrBeast Burger, you're providing someone something. You give them a burger in exchange for money. There's a transaction there. This is just pump and dumping based off your fame to extract millions from desperate people. Whether a product is good or bad is not for me to decide. Like, I don't think it, I mean, I do think it's super cool to wear head to toe Maverick merch. I obviously have a ton of it. I don't wear it on stream, but I wear it in the real life all the time. I think it's cool to have a Maverick hat and a Maverick joggers and a Maverick. I think that's badass. But if you thought those were uncool, you know, it's buyer's choice. If you want that, you spend money on it, you get it. All right. That's the fucking deal. Some people, crazy enough, don't think an Enron hat is cool. But it's a trade. It's a fair trade. This is, from the beginning, there was never going to be anything real. It was entirely designed, executed perfectly to, you know, roundabout pump and dump using their fame to get money. It doesn't matter whether Jimmy knew those things on the exact dates either. There's no other reason to do it. The reason you buy the coin is so you can dump it. And the reason you think it's your confidence going up because you're famous.
Agree with them if they had done this crypto stuff without using MrBeast's name. But they want to have their cake and eat it too. This fund trades on MrBeast's name. As we've seen, they get in pre-sales based on his name. He tweets from his public account, and they're putting his name publicly on projects' websites instead of a fund. But when things go south, suddenly, oh, MrBeast, what? No liability, just because he's not sitting there physically pressing the buttons. I don't think that's the way it works. Look, I want to close with the final part of this CryptoPunks podcast we showed you earlier, because in many ways, I think it's a microcosm of this story. Obviously, I have to say, I'm not making any comments or judgments about the guy who's suing me, who's also in this clip. That's just coincidence. I am only talking about MrBeast's reaction, because as MrBeast is talking about Gary V's great CryptoPunks call, there's a moment when the co-host says, hey, maybe instead of Gary V being a genius, maybe it's just the call itself that makes the market. And MrBeast kind of defends it. He says, no, that was in February. You know, CryptoPunks didn't pop until the summer. And, you know, I never talked about CryptoPunks until this very moment.
Can I ask you guys a question? When Gary does that call with all these billionaires and 8 months or a year later, everybody's like, Gary was right again.
Yeah.
Is it possible that he's right because of the call? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think about that a
Like,
lot.
dude, he has all these
I think about
billionaire
that a
market
lot.
makers in the thing.
think about
He
that a
makes
lot.
the call, makes the market. By the way, you look around at all the punk owners a year later and you're like, damn, it's all the same motherfuckers that were on the call.
No, because bro, there's 10,000 punks, and there's only like 30 of us on the call. We can only own and do so much. There's still an entire market that's gonna happen regardless.
I can tell you, I don't think why, because that was all back like early February. Like things didn't pop off till later, and every like NFT project was popping off, not just punks.
I mean, make no mistake. Like having such influential people involved in projects, it can't hurt the ability for the project to
but like,
work. You know what I'm saying?
95% of those people didn't even mention it. You know what I mean? Like, I've never talked about it publicly.
Yeah, but that last part isn't quite true. The reason we're all here is MrBeast tweeted about CryptoPunks the same day he bought them back in February of 2021. That's how we found his wallet, even though we now know someone else was involved too. And I would apply the same level of scrutiny to many of the investments we've talked about. Was it the genius of Jason Williams, MrBeast, or this fund that made them tens of millions of dollars? Maybe. Or was it the fact that the name they brought to the table was MrBeast, one of the most influential and valuable brands in the world? And that's what got them the great deals. That's what got them a bunch of eyeballs. That's what made it so valuable to have his name on these websites. And maybe that's what made the market. Ultimately, I think it's for you to decide.
I mean, good vid, but it's just insane. People didn't receive enough pushback for doing that in 2021. It's crazy.